Hello and welcome to the Golf Pro Show. My name is Gary Shaw and as always I'm joined by Liam Grehan. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Ireland, one of the top coaches, David Ruddy. And I'm going to go straight into a little outline of how David has been getting on over the last few years. So at lunch in the 36-hole final of the Amateur Championship at Royal Liverpool, Stuart Grehan was one down and struggling with his swing. He went to the range with his coach, David Ruddy, made what they call a reset, and a few hours later he was the amateur champion with places at the Open, the Masters and the US Open. David is a PGA coach who has built his career around learning relentlessly but coaching the individual, centered strike, predictable curve and distance control, delivered through what he calls vision, process and discipline. Today we want to understand what happened on that range, how a coach simplifies when the pressure is at its highest, what the Open taught both of them, and where David believes modern coaching is heading. David, welcome to the Golf Pro Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk golf as always. Probably what I do all day, every day anyway. So hopefully I don't bore you too much.
No, you've got some story to tell.
Yeah.
What if we go straight to the range there when Stuart was one down after the first round? What actually happened there, and how did you place yourself in the right situation and say the right thing to Stuart, and that reset you were talking about? What actually happened there?
Yeah. So Stuart didn't actually know that I was in the premises at all. I wouldn't talk to Stuart during tournaments if he's doing well. So I'd be that type of coach. I'm here if you need me, but if you don't, great. So normally when I don't hear from players, they're doing good. And he was obviously doing good that week. And so I watched the morning 18, and then after 18 I just went over to him and said, hello, how are you? And he goes, oh, David, I didn't know you were here. I said, of course I'd be here. And so he says, I'm going to go to the range, hit some. I didn't feel comfortable out there. And he was going to get food first. So I just went over to the driving range, and I had there's just one guy there, the guy that was running the range. And I just sat down with my iPad and went through the 18 holes, and I just tried to pick out everything that he done, good and bad, and then I just focused in on what the pieces that I thought he could work better on in the afternoon. And I tried to make it as simple as possible, because taking on anything complex in that high pressure environment was never going to work. So I just said, I think chipping into the wind, be more aggressive. He knew wedges in the bag as well, so they were checking a little bit, so he's leaving them a little short. Downwind, he screwed himself over with good drives, but they were just the wrong angles into the greens. So I just said, really be careful. Even if you have to lay back on short par fours, give yourself a chance to spin it. Give yourself a chance to get the right angle into the green.
Brilliant.
Left, right wins. So that course, the start to the back nine, 10, 12, there's in and out of the left, and I felt
Tough tee
like when I
shots.
was watching, yeah, they were long holes and in and out of the left. So he was every time he was just in the right rough, and he struggled to get to the green. It's a longer second shot and it's out of the rough, so it was really tough. So I just said, Stuart, just open your stance. It'll just help you with your start lines, because he hits it so pure. It doesn't really move in the wind that much. So he's just starting them too far to the right. So I was just maybe pop it up in your stance a little bit if you want, but just try and open your stance to get the start lines nailed. And then he airmailed a few greens, and I noticed that he was landing the ball sometimes even pin high out of the rough, and they were just going over. And most links courses over the green is kind of more dead than short.
Yeah.
So I got him I said, when you are in the rough or downwind, I said, the main yardage I want you to think about is the front yardage and work from there.
Super.
It's probably one of the only things that I think back of when I was playing in Cairn and I played well in a Pro-Am. That was one thing I stuck on, and it really worked well for me. So I think that's where I pulled that from. And then the last thing is I was trying to get his mind more into bogey avoidance. He likes to make birdies, and he's but that course, when they were going back to the blue tees in the afternoon, and I knew that if he had bogey avoidance, he would win that match. And then, so we kind of spoke about that just as he was kind of stretching and warming up. And then he started hitting a couple of balls, and I just videoed his swing like I always would, same angle, same club. And I just felt he was getting a little bit short at the top, which causes the club to get a little bit behind him. And he struggles to hit his cut from there. So we got a training aid called a swing guide. It's like 90 cents to buy, and you put it on the
yellow
club.
one, yeah.
yeah. It just pronates the arm a
Really
little bit more. It pronates the arm a little bit more, and it gets a little bit more loft on the club at the top, and just helps him get his wrist angles in order. And honestly, once he does that, the club just comes down more on plane, and he starts fading it straight away again, because the wind was off the right in the range, and he was just holding it up again. And the first few were just like these pull draws. He just gets under and shut and drags it a little bit. And then the last beat, I wanted to leave him with some inspiration. It wasn't the gladiator or anything, but I wanted to say
it's like a hat.
Freedom.
Yeah, I just want to say, Stuart, like I always remember Hogan talking about saying this was the hardest tournament to win. So in my mind, I says, this opportunity may never come back. I says, so tonight, win, lose or draw, I want you to leave no regrets. I want you to just carry yourself like a champion. I thought you did well this morning. I think you can do better. I says, if you act like a champion out there, I think you'll get the job done today. And then just gave him a good strong handshake and let him off.
Unreal.
That was it.
That's class. I can even imagine, like, say with Stu's face getting stronger, that's probably reacting to the wind coming in out of the left. And like, by like knowing his swing, knowing his cues, you're able to like just get your alignment better and keeping your wrist angles in check. And he was able to hit the shots he always does.
Exactly. There's no doubt about this guy is ultra talented with hard work and discipline over a long time. If you just push him slightly in the right direction, he'll do the rest for you. I would never take the credit for the ability that guy has to hit the ball.
He's a joke.
But the just helping him out a little bit here and there and let him flourish after that. He's once he's on, it's really, Liam will tell you, you've played with him a bit, Liam.
Oh yeah, sure. I would have travelled his last year as a pro with him. Like, he was an absolute flusher. Like, I think he was in a different headspace with Kai coming along and travelling back and forth to England. It was a tough time for him. So like, it's nice seeing how he's succeeding now, because it always seemed like he had the ability to succeed at any level. And it's exciting seeing him come back to amateur golf and just absolutely flourish, like you were saying. So yeah, no, I'm delighted for Stu, and it's exciting seeing the work that you've done together. And like, I know when we would have played clutch, he was kind of critical of his driving, even though he was 180 something ball speed and really good strikes. I don't think he was as confident a driver as he seems to be now. And I know he spoke about that a lot. I'm sure you've seen it firsthand and been involved in it firsthand, Dave. What kind of changed with Stu's driving, or what improved?
Yeah, like Stu came to Ballycasteen maybe 6-7 years ago, and he firstly we were on the second hole and he hit like 2 6-irons to a foot. I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. I was only new to coaching, I would say. To bring it back even a little bit further, Ger Dunn was the first guy that ever kind of trusted me early, and I managed to help Ger out a little bit and get him going in the right direction. And Ger played with Stuart, and he was amazed by everything in his game bar his driver. And he says, I've been down with Dave, he's helped me a little bit, you should go see him. And Stuart came down anyway, and he was hitting this kind of toey shot low and left. And to be honest, I don't think I know what I know now, but I knew enough to help him to help him out at that time. And I was like, well, the club face is closed and you're hitting the toe, so we need to, first thing is, I says, can you get the feeling of getting that face open and the follow through as much as you can? And the ball flight just immediately went a little bit higher into the air. So without knowing everything, I was just able to get the right piece, and I would put a bit of luck on if that was a bit of luck that I didn't have the whole picture, but I had enough to kind of get us started and get a bit of trust from Stuart. And from there, he started to play a little bit better. But if you're thinking about a swing change, that could have been a 5-year swing change for him to actually now go and play in that high pressure environment. And I think one of the proudest shots, which we'll get to later, is to watch him hit that drive off the first in the Open, 182 ball speed. That hole is scary. There's literally nowhere to hit it down the right side. It's just OB off the fairway nearly. And then down the left, it's like it's cabbage, and then it's veering to the left. So for him to get up there feeling the way he did and trust that driver at 182 ball speed was really, really proud moment for me as a coach, because I saw the original drives where he's struggling a little bit.
That's
I was
pretty
actually
impressive.
I was assistant pro in Tullamore. That's where I started, where he's from, obviously, and his brother Matthew's a great player as well.
Yeah.
I think he has the course record in Tullamore, something like 10 under, something like that.
The other brother, the other Molinari, or
I'll remind Stuart of that today.
Yeah, maybe that's an amateur score, but yeah, I think he has the record.
So I suppose, Dave, leading on from the amateur, like after winning, he's after getting these amazing exemptions, and it was a pretty quick turnaround to come to the Open then. Like, was it 3 weeks or a month maybe? And you're like, yeah, your basically life kind of changed in a way. Like, that's, do you know what I mean? You're a major championship player now. That's a big deal. So like, well, how did that look them 3 weeks? And like, I know he was away playing with Ireland and stuff. So how did the prep kind of come about, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, first me, like I'm a golf addict. I love golf, and watched all these tournaments so much, and I love Tiger and followed Tiger. So like for me to go and like just be part of these tournaments personally was just like amazing, and obviously what's to come is even going to be better again. But yeah, the preparation started the minute he won that tournament. Noel Fox sent me a lovely text. He was like, Pádraig was down playing a practice round at Birkdale, and he says, these are the things that I think you should focus on. And then all the coaches that I would use in my own kind of backroom team were there to help me out and send me all the advice of what was going to be needed, because they'd already been to the venue, some of them already. So I was starting to paint a picture. Then I watched Harrington play Birkdale in the 2008. So I was trying to really get myself to get a feel for the place. And yeah, the preparation was a little bit tricky because they were in Estonia and they managed to win it, which was unbelievable. Thomas Higgins came from holding an amazing putt to win it. It was just like incredible scenes, and because they had a hard miss the year before down in Clarny, they probably should have won that one. That got away from
that. Was the 6-man team, wasn't it?
Yeah, the European Team Championships.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing is the Open, that's in Estonia. They're finished on a Saturday to celebrate. They're tired. There's a lot of adrenaline gone into that. And Stuart is to now get himself back up and be in Birkdale on Monday, where he is playing with Pádraig, Shane and David Howard. And there's a couple
on Monday morning.
Yes, and there's a couple
of your Monday.
Couple of club changes, changing the grind and the lob wedge to get it to cut through the turf a little bit more. Changing from a rescue to a 2-iron with a graphite shaft. He was like, I love these, but you still have to bring them out in the golf course and see what they feel. And then even at that, you still have to see how they feel under the gun. But I think that practice round on the Monday morning, I said, you may not be as nervous on Thursday because it was like a circus going to the first tee with Pádraig and Shane and David Howard. And so like he was like, wow, I was feeling it there. And yeah, he played great in that practice round, and the lads were just amazing with their information and just so willing to help, and just like it was a great start to the week, and I'm sure it made him feel ultra comfortable.
I'd say Lowry and Harrington were very good to him.
They were. They were, and one of the main questions I asked Ronan Flood is like, how do you think these guys' short games are as good? And Ronan said to me, basically they play first to 20 for a few bob, and they try and get at each other's weaknesses. So Porrick puts Shane into the rough and into the bunkers, bad lies, and Shane
No
puts
way.
Porrick on the fairway, and they have great banter. And these two
Unreal.
guys are so competitive for a couple of £100 in a chipping competition, you wouldn't believe it. And it's amazing.
Millionaires.
There wasn't much technique talk about how they work on their technique and their short game. It was literally the environment they put themselves in helped develop their short game a lot, which is really interesting.
Unbelievable. So like they're feeling like, because they're not only they don't want to lose the money, but they're also jibing at each other and giving each other crap. So yeah, I can imagine if you're over an uncomfortable chip shot and you're playing each other, yeah, it's gonna stand to them hugely. Did Stuart? I suppose he probably wouldn't in that time get involved with them in some of their chipping games, or did it? What did his practice look like that week?
Stuart was actually, which we got onto in day 2, is Stuart was a little bit underplaying on his chipping. As you know, the long game can run into the short game, and he was kind of drop kicking a couple. And Porrick just gave him a little right foot back drill that gave him a nice feel as well, which is cool. And I totally thought that was a great drill. And then I just did a bit of work on downslopes as well, because I felt like if he practiced more off downslopes,
You're not going to drop it under.
Yeah, his swing plane would naturally come a little bit more on top, move the low point forward, and the strike improved. I was at the chipping green and I was literally putting him on anything that was like this. He's like, you're trying to make a show of me here at the Open.
Just from a coaching standpoint, like it sounds like there's 2 different approaches to short game and long game. Where do you blend? Like if you said to a player, right, this is the idea with a short game, you want to get a bit more steeper, you don't want to get underneath and all that. It's okay more so with the long game. Where do you draw a line there? Or do you blend in one to the other, like from long to short?
Yeah,
Do you have a system for that?
I do. I think inside 30 yards, I would call the short game. And then between 30 and 60, I'd call the grey area. I'd say for most people, you need to try and stay out of that area. It seems to be a tricky spot to be. It's kind of like a little bit in between both. There's many pros that would have their caddy make sure that they don't have that yardage. Wow. And then we're into distance wedges. Like most guys would have like a right rib lob wedge that can go about 60 yards. Yeah. So they're more comfortable. They're back practicing that yardage again, and they'd have a wedge system. I'd have a wedge system built off that. My anatomy pieces: right rib, right pocket, right shoulder, and full, or swing 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone's a little different, but once you can match the swing up with the yardage, and then have adjustments to maybe land it softer, release it a little bit within your system, you're good to go, I think.
So there is a blurry area in the middle there somewhere.
Yeah, I think Alex Buckner called it the grey zone, which is a nice way of putting it. It's kind of in between everything.
Yeah. I like, even with the 30 to 60, is that true, like strokes gained you're looking at? Has it been like that grey area, or just like an uncomfortable kind of awkward number, like more the feel versus like the numbers as such?
I feel like the way golfers have developed is they've been at driving ranges and they start their sessions with like little 3/4 lob wedges all their life, and then they're at chipping greens that probably don't go back outside 30 yards, a lot of them. So their whole life they've kind of had this area where they've not really, like, you play a chipping competition, you'd rarely be hitting a 45-yard pitch. You'd be all around.
It's very rare
green.
To have the place, to have the space to do it. Yeah.
So that's kind of, I guess, where and from a little bit of feedback from players that I coach is like, I'm not fully comfortable on this shot because I just don't practice it as much. And to go and spend all your time on that shot and only have it twice a tournament or once a tournament is probably be a little bit of, misused time.
when I was chatting to you the other day, you mentioned at the Open you had a little chat with Dylan Byrne and kind of got a few tidbits of information there as well. Is there anything that was interesting or useful for you that week, and maybe potentially going forward to the other majors?
100%. I was like just wondering when I watched Stuart play the first day, and I just felt like some holes he was too far back, some holes he wasn't, he wasn't far back enough. And I was like, right, I'm just going to ask Dylan what the pros are doing, where they were gaining and not gaining. And for instance, the third hole, driver off the tee was the play, and Stuart hit iron and made bogey. The fifth hole was a drivable par four, which he did great on in practice, drove it up around the green. And in the tournament, they decided they'd go with the iron off the tee, and he made bogey. So
Right.
Day two, we had him get more aggressive down three. He made par. And number 5, he hit driver by the green and made birdie. 13, he got further up and made birdie. And that was the hole he made a treble on the first day.
Right.
Now, what I will say about the first day and the scoring in the first day, he was a little unlucky in a couple of things. In Birkdale, it seemed to be at midday, the wind started. There was a 2-club wind, which is going to add a nice bit to the whole day. And he teed off at that time. And so it was harder conditions. His first major.
Yeah.
He was fighting his swing a tiny bit. And the last thing I'd say is he hit it in the rough right at number 6, and he had to hit backwards, and he hit it in a bunker twice, and he had to hit backwards. Now, you can hit it in the rough sometimes, especially that week. There was no rough, and you could get by the green and get up and down, and you could hit it in a bunker and it'd get minimum of 100 yards. So there was a little bit of rub of the green, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of the wind, and a little bit of being a hair off. And all of a sudden you're 77. Like Porrick shot 80 that day. It was tricky in the afternoon. In fact, I'd be quite interested to see who did well in the tournament that started early on day one.
Yeah. And like the other thing is like the environment of being in your first major championship when you're not feeling comfortable with everything. Like it's more like look at it as like a learning experience, because like, do you know what I mean? How many people succeed in their first major? It's a completely different environment to what you've ever played. If you're a little bit off, like the setup's going to be pretty tough too. And I know how firm that it was. Like it was to hold greens, and like if you don't have spin on the ball coming from the rough, it's still going to be hard to get it close unless you're up by the green chipping. Like
it was set up harder than the amateur. And the thing about it is he said to me, I felt comfortable, but it just didn't go my way. And I was like, that's great, because you now know going forward that you can do this. And lo and behold, he played lovely the second day. He shot 69. I think he beat the field by maybe a shot and a half, which is a real lovely way to go away from a big disappointment. I'm sure he went to bed on Thursday night, and a lovely way to go away. And now that's something that we can bring into Augusta, and we can bring it into the US Open in Pebble Beach.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Just like going up the levels, like a lot of people listening might be playing amateur events like, the south of Ireland and that kind of thing, or the Mullingar Scratch Cup. Like the levels, Liam, you've gone from that to, mini tour levels and all that kind of stuff, and then going from that to European Tour, and then to the Open. Like, how much of a gap is there between each of those? Like, David, you've seen players on all those levels. Like the atmosphere, the expectations, the pressures, how the preparation works.
They are phenomenal at playing golf in a circus, for starters. Every shot they hit, including on the range, like it's nearly hard to do a drill on the range because you've got 10,000 people watching you. If you shank it or anything, you're like, oh. But I say it's a terrible place to build a golf swing or work on something. I was like, you need to be ready when you get here, because it's just literally warm ups, warm downs. But in general, what I noticed was how good they are with the driver and
Wow.
medium to easy short game shots and distance control are what I learned the most about. It was so the driver every like 180 ball speed is standard now, and
Wow.
180 ball speed with when you say oh he's in the rough on this hole like they're in the rough by 5 yards.
Yeah.
They're not hitting it wide at all.
Yeah.
They're
No
not
way. They're
wingers.
just
Yeah.
no,
And fast.
no. I didn't see anyone hit a shot like that. No one.
Mm.
And another perception that we have is, someone might be hitting a cut, and he's you look at him hit balls for an hour, and he throw every ball. Like everyone says, I love Alex Noren's fade swing. I was like, I did not see Alex Noren hit one fade for an hour.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Right.
So perceptions online and things like that. I need to go and delete an odd post that I've done after watching these players.
I remember seeing Monty years ago. I was very young now. This is back when he was playing, he was at his peak, or well, he was still good. But everyone used to say like Monty has this big fade, and I remember seeing him, and it looked like the straightest shot I've ever seen in my life.
Right, I was
They
getting
don't
there.
move like.
I was getting there. It's like, oh, Tommy draws it. No, Tommy hits like a 1 yard draw, and like
Mm.
Yeah.
Victor Hovland and Scotty. Scotty is not hitting a big pull cut like everyone thinks. Scotty is when he's practicing, he's hitting these 6 irons. They might move a yard here or there. They're so neutral. The ball is so
Jeez.
good now. The equipment's so good now. They're hitting it so much out of the middle of the club. 180 ball speed and very, very tight dispersions and little curve for most players. Then we played with
Mm.
lads like Peter Uline and Ricky. They move it maybe 5-10 yards, a little bit more, but
Mm.
I think the players at the top of the game at the moment are not curving it a whole pile.
And Rory,
Rory
high
was
draw.
interesting. No, practicing a lot of fades. Fades from a little bit underneath, if I was honest. So he's there. He's obviously fighting the club a little behind him with his irons at the moment. So he's practicing with an open stance, trying to
Mm.
obviously get his swing direction left to swing down his feet line, but they're coming out pretty neutral. So it looks like he's going to hit a 20-yard fade, but they come out like with no movement.
Jeez.
Um,
Mate.
and everyone stops to watch Rory hit the driver on the range. It's just good. He's got two drives with it. He's got like a flat one, and he's got this
Mm.
thing that takes off like a pitching wedge, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't come out of the air. I'd say they were just like, that ball is never going to be seen again because it's just
Jeez.
gone 340. So there's a thing on the range, you can watch the screen,
Mm.
and
Mm.
he's like flat carry 340. That I guess is without the downwind
Carry.
that we had all week.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
speed is he, David? Did you see?
187.
Oh, that's so fast. Yeah.
That's what 125, maybe club speed, something like that.
But guys, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
I would say like over the last 2 years with the amateurs and playing the championships, I'm like ball control, but it has shifted me a little bit towards like 180 is where you need to be thinking now if you're
Mm.
going to go and have a go at this game because it's standard over there. We have the information nowadays. We have got the physical trainers. We've got the measuring devices. We've got the information. We've got the equipment. We've got the ball. I just think 180 is. If you're not 180, you're probably going to get left behind at the high levels of the game. And I
Even
even
6
see
irons and the lads are in 8. Yeah.
exactly. And the guys that you don't think are long are long.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember even playing with Podrick 3-4 years ago, and he was saying like to do well on tour, 180, 182 as your encore speed is kind of necessary. Like you have to. I'm working towards that with the stack at the minute, but it's impressive though at the same time to be confident enough to hit it that hard. I know some lads are physically bigger guys as well, but it's like you look at Rory, he's not a big frame. Like Stu obviously has that. He thumps it. He is there, so it's it's super impressive.
David, like through the years, we're obviously all PGA pros and we're all on different avenues, I suppose. But like you've a serious hunger for knowledge and the swing. You made a conscious decision to be an elite coach. You want to focus primarily on the top level players. Do you still coach juniors and stuff like that as well and beginners? And
I do. to be honest, I don't like posting juniors. I've kind of changed my thing on that. I just like to keep them in the dark as much as I can. I don't want them to think that like making one good swing for my camera is the be all. So I've kind of
Yeah,
withdrawn
yeah,
from that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I have a couple of juniors. To be honest, I don't do the camps anymore. If there's a junior showing potential, I'd like them to come to me. And there's other people that are really good at doing the camps, so I don't do that. I work with all levels. I do 10 lessons on Spawell on a Friday, and 5 of them would be over 10 handicap. But my identity that I want to portray with everyone is that I want to be an elite golf coach, and I want to coach players at the highest level of the game to go as far as they can, and with a holistic approach.
Has that evolved over the years, or would David have said that 8 years ago?
I think I always wanted to be around the best players. I think I
Chance.
admired them. I love watching them hit it. I just love to be part of the whole show, and that didn't change when I was over at the Open. I just loved every minute of being there, and a nice story was just to show me that I was doing something kind of right. Was Matt Wallace came up to me and said, "Finally, nice to meet you. I've been following you for a while." So that actually relaxed me so much. I was like, "That's really nice." Like that, a guy that's won 5 times on the European Tour would come up and say that to me, and he was laughing. Then Stuart hit a nice 7-iron, and he says, "We'll see that on Instagram tonight." I'd say,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You're a celeb,
Brilliant.
David.
"Yeah, no,
And like
no."
that
Not a
thirst for
celeb.
knowledge, you've been on loads of like training courses. I know you run Stack and Tilts that I've been on a few times, and I think Dana
Yeah, I'm
Dahlquist.
going to take a second to give Andy Plummer a big mention. He gets a little bit of he gets a bit of heat from here time to time, but he's been a fantastic mentor. He's helped me organize all of my information so well, and I can't say one bad word about him. We spend a lot of time together, and he's really helped me be able to coach and not talk shite to people. Basically, you gotta edit that out, but yeah.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's some mind, hasn't he, David? Like,
He has. He's got a great mind, and I think the criticism he gets is from people that just have not gone and done his course and spent time with him, because he's just a really interesting guy, and he's helped my coaching a ton, as have other coaches, like, for instance, Alex Buckner, Timo Van Geest, James Ridyard, Martin Park with the Golfing Machine, which is a very, very hard book to read. He's been amazing at I'd say, what about this release style? And he'd go chapter 2B1A.
Like the Bible,
and yeah, it's like, it was cool. Like, I think that book really started golf instruction in a great way. So yeah, these guys
I'm
are
trying
so
to nibble
helpful.
through it, but
Yeah. Alex Buckner, excellent. Andreas Cali, super coach. I've done all of their things. I've done Scott Cokes. I've done Mike Adams' course and the ultimate golf lesson. I've done a Chuck Cook, and yeah,
Pete
it was
Cowan?
probably Pete Cowan. I met him in Dubai. The big thing I got from Pete Cowan is I studied his Ripple Effect bunker series that he shot in Dubai, maybe I'd say 25 years ago. It's an excellent way of presenting bunkers. That was probably Stuart's weakest point was his bunker play, and in the Open he had a shot on the 17th. It was about a 30-yard bunker shot, and that would be a U-shape arc with Pete, and that would be hitting the sand more forward than down. And he hit an amazing shot, flew it all the way, 2 bounces, and checked to about 6 feet and hold the putt. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, that's the power of having a great system playing under pressure. He was able to go in and work out that lie, because he said to me after, he's like, yeah, you just pushed it to the flag.
That's class.
If you didn't have a good system for that shot, you could have hit it into the far field.
you're obviously a very good player, David. Like, when did you decide, right, that's enough playing, I'm going to focus on coaching? Was there a turning point there, or did you meet somebody or someone inspire you? Or...
Yeah, like, I was a nice player. I probably let on I was better than I was, but I think meeting all these guys was out of my own failures, if I'm honest. I wanted to get better, and I just kept wanting answers, and I was looking everywhere for the answers, like no different to anyone else. And then I started to figure out that I might be able to help people as I look and try and figure my own game out, which probably has never unfolded the way I'd like it. But yeah, most golfers go to other coaches for their own game selfishly, and then they end up getting stuff that can help others out even more. I'm still grinding. I'm hitting balls every day, and I think it helps my
Good man.
coaching. Yeah, hit a ton of balls. I think it helps my coaching. I was like, "What are you feeling there?" I was like, "Oh, you might come up with something that you felt, not to be putting your feels on people, but when you've gone through what someone is going through, you can definitely kind of feel what they're going through a little bit more." And the good players, they really, really like when you can demonstrate something. If you get in a bunker with Stuart Grehan and you hit it inside him, you have his full attention. That is,
Yeah.
if you duff that ball out in front of him, you'll probably lose him in a minute. So that would be, I would pride myself on demonstrating all the shots in front of the players. And I've often had a top player come for a lesson, and I'd go and do 2 or 3 hours practice on the shots that we were going to do before we had the lesson, because I want to be up to speed and demonstrating the shots for him.
Yeah,
Class.
sharpen your tools.
Yeah.
Dave, I don't know if you had the same experience as me, but I found when I started coaching, like, I wasn't an amazing player as an amateur at all, but once I started coaching, my game improved tenfold, because I just understood it and could diagnose, and like was more almost engaged, because I wasn't like after hitting a bad shot and like, oh my God, what's just gone on there? Have you ever found that in your own game, like hitting them shots?
Yeah, I played in Ellen Park the other day. It was windy, and I haven't played a tournament in over a year, and I shot like 6 over par, which was probably middle of the field. Most of the shots I was playing, I was just going off a system of how I'd play it. I wouldn't have had too much work done on it, I had a chip and run on a par 5, and I knew that was a shot that I taught someone recently with a pitching wedge, ball in the middle and getting it to release up the green. So I just literally used what I kind of would have coached, and I kind of use my own systems when I play now, and it makes me play to a nice level. Just like thereabouts where I wouldn't be embarrassing myself.
And I can vouch for the conditions that day in Ellen Park. I played as well. It was so windy, and the fairways were so firm that you missed by a little bit, you were chipping out sideways. So it was, to shoot anything respectable was tough going out there that day.
Yeah, I think I got €116 after the expense was taken off. I was like, I need to get back coaching quick.
Better for the
matching up with the rent price.
Yes.
So you say you're a holistic coach, like you've got tons of information in your head. How do you filter that before it hits the ears of the player in front of you? Like, as a coach, like how do you, the timing, the right words to say, especially in the likes of Stuart there on the driving range in the middle of a tournament? Do you have a thought on that, like how you'd filter what's said, or is it a feeling? Like, do you feel like you just have that?
Well, I strip it back to what shot are we trying to hit? And that's the first thing. Does the setup match the shot intention? Does the club and body movement match the shot intention? And if not, what is the piece that we can put in to help you hit that shot? Okay. So I think that if you were to think about it very simply, there's 6 things that we can move around. We can move the low point forward or back. We can open the face or close the face, or we can change the swing direction to the left or the right. Now, normally one or two of them 6 things will get you back to the shape shot you're trying to hit or the shot you're trying to do in all areas of the game. So that's the way I think I'm looking at it. I have a model in my mind to where I would start to organise my information for someone that might hit a draw, someone that's hitting a straight shot, and someone that's hitting a fade. I have a model in my mind for hitting a low, medium, and a high shot. So that's what I'm always referencing to. But I'm 100% looking at that ball flying and saying, does this need a face angle change? Does this need a swing direction change? Or does this need a low point change that might impact the strike location? So I do have, and I guess that when you're looking at what's wrong at impact, I guess that's the individual of the coach to go where he would make the changes. So for instance, I often change backswing to change downswing. So if someone was swinging I had a guy yesterday, the swing direction was too far left and he was laid off. And normally, from experience, when I get someone a little bit less laid off, the swing direction will change to more neutral. So it's kind of, I'm changing impact, but I just have my own little tricks then to change impact.
Like, say if someone has a little bit of an idiosyncratic swing versus your model, but they're producing a reasonable ball flight, but maybe not the desired one. How do you look and analyze, right, well, what's kind of their unique move versus what needs to change to get closer to my model? Is it through knowing the person and over time, or how do you actually figure that out in the fly?
Well, I think what's the shot intention? Why are you here? That's a big question, because if we don't get if we don't get that at the start, we're going to talk absolute rubbish for an hour. So the interview process before they even start hitting is so important. I said, what do you want? And they'll normally tell you what they want. And
consistency.
Then yeah, that word is killing me. So I would say he comes in, he's got the idiosyncratic, I can't even say that word. And
we know where you're going.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would what piece is going to get us closer to the ball flight that we want? And I go from there. So if he's hitting a pull draw and he's got a mad swing, I might just get him to cup his wrist and to follow through and keep the face open a little bit. And that could be him away, and off he'd win everything. And he still has that swing that he started with.
Brilliant. So you're not just teaching the swing versus, you're starting with ball flight versus the swing, basically.
The model is only where we start. It's something to reference. I'm not. I think there's a perception out there that I'm teaching everyone the model, and couldn't be further from the truth.
System, as Andy would say.
A system to organise your information to make a good decision based on what's needed.
That's why I think a conversation like this is important, because the flick of an Instagram reel or something, you don't get the full picture in the slightest, and people get the wrong perception. So I think. Yeah, that's the internet age, and it's kind of cool to have these longer form conversations about it. It
is. It's also none of my business what anyone else has to say about Mike. That's what I would say.
It's a good philosophy.
I've got that cookie cutter comment a few times, and I was, that cookie cutter guy is doing good. Some people are absolutely like engineers. Some people they want the full playbook. They don't want that little thing. They want if they see you don't have the full playbook, they don't want to be
disappointed.
Yeah. Sometimes when they say, they might come in and say, I want to swing it like Charles Howell or Tommy Fleetwood, and if you don't know the pieces to give them, they'll be gone. They'll be down the road in no time. And some people come and say they're coming because they actually like Stuart's swing and they want to use Stuart as a model. You wouldn't believe the requests that come in.
You're trying to match their goal, David, as opposed to you can't give them the goal of what they want to do. Really, they're your client in that sense.
100%. At the interview, the questions that you ask: what does a good lesson look like today? Why are you really here? What can I help you with? They're so important, because if we just start with what Dave wants, we could end up in hospital with the swing. Because I want Tiger 2000. Great, let's go.
How's your body?
Yeah, exactly. But it's that interview process for me is, and then getting full clarity on what we want. And then putting the pieces that just cut out all the bullshit. Putting in the pieces that are going to make this guy hit the guy or girl, which I have plenty more coming at the moment. Hit it the way they want to hit it.
So Dave, you're pretty busy in person and online as well. So how you obviously use Skillest. Myself and Gary are using Skillest a bit more to coach. So how do you find with new clients online? How do you do it? In when it's not in person, with the questionnaire, and how do you how do you even start? How do you like to do it, and how does that work? What does it look like with you?
Skillest has been great. Credit John Cleary, who's literally been the man behind a lot of decisions I've made. John had said to me before there was ever really any online coaching in Ireland that you need to get online. And
Brilliant.
I said, okay, go on. And it was a slow burner for anyone that's doing it. It doesn't take off fast at the start. You really need to create an identity, and you need to create a place where you're going to bring people to your profile. It's wishful thinking that they're just going to go on your profile. So I would say Instagram and the results of my players have brought them to my profile. They might want some of that, I guess. When you're coaching online, the ability to use visual references and have some good videos ready for the client is really important. And I would say one of the other thing is just getting back to people on time. I start every morning at about 7 a.m. So people know that if their swing is loaded up by 7 a.m., they'll get it back by 8:30. And
Brilliant.
that's a kind of an unknown promise. Bar something big on, they'll get that. That's my morning routine, that I would do that. And luckily enough, I've done 7,000 lessons, just coming up to 7,000 lessons, which is yeah, it's great. And I've got some great clients overseas. Tony Kelly has been with me a long time. Seamus Toner, Neil O'Reilly. These guys have just trusted me for so long, and we do uh, everyday stuff, and they've really improved their game. So yeah, thanks to John Cleary, who's really just told me to do this.
Your cousin, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the men.
That's the publican, is it?
Yeah, John's dad is publican, who's also been a phenomenal support to my career. In the sense that he's invited me to go to so many events, that I've met people that have brought me to go to do other things. And next week we go and play the father and son in Waterville, which he's managed to wriggle me on, and we're going to Ballybunion and Waterville for 4 days, which I will never tire of going for 18 holes at a phenomenal course with people that I love. And you know that if you're asking me, one of my big goals is just to do that more often, because like that is that, and a little nice glass of red wine after would probably be the guilty pleasure.
Golf at its best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those kind of situations. Like.
Yeah.
Probably gives you the hunger for what you're doing now, though, as well, Dave, that like you appreciate what golf can be. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's a way of life. It really is, more than ever. Like, I'm standing on the 50 in Ballybunion. If I'm 3 under or 7 over, I'm looking out at the sea and I'm saying, wow, this is just like so nice. So that outlook on golf now, I don't take the results as too serious anymore, which has made the game so much more fun for me. I used to carry a lot of it home and be down in myself, and I'm like, you know, there's way more to life than being a few over par. But yeah, so that's a massive part, is like to see the joy in the whole experience of the game, is like, you know, getting to socialize, getting outdoors, getting to play these amazing courses, getting to play any course, even just going hitting balls. I'm so giddy. Some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I'm off this morning. I'm going hammering tree woods for 3 hours and no one's going to stop me. And that's brilliant. I love to do that. And I don't think I'll ever tire of that stuff, really. And yeah.
I love the obsession, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a hunger there, isn't there?
There is. And if there's any young coaches listening to this, there needs to be a real devotion to like wanting to learn about it. It's not doing the bare min. Like I would say for 5-10 years, I would have done an hour of reading or looking at a seminar, or even I'd go through all the YouTube stuff. I'd see what everyone is saying, and I'd have these books and I'd have all the notes in my books, and I'd go back to 2023. I was looking at Chuck Cook. I watched his 2-hour forum on a Sunday evening, you know, and I just take one piece that I have from that, and I can remember he was like shoulder to the ball, shoulder to the wall, shoulder to the ball, and you just have these little, and you're giving someone a lesson, and they're like, give me a feel, and I might say shoulder to the wall, shoulder to the ball, and I like that, or whatever, and that's how you kind of build. That's how you build these kind of cues for golfers to get them to do what you want them to do.
In COVID, we were on a few like seminars that Andrew Rice was doing with, I think, Brett Rumford on it. I remember like this is probably the first I'd seen of you online, and we were chatting about like Brett Rumford's wedge grinds and stuff. So like I can vouch for seeing you doing that.
We had a chat about the drivers. We felt like we were being fitted for 2 drivers that had too much little spin, and it destroyed careers, which I still I still think to this day that the fitters can get it too low. And I was a little bit out with my strike, and I had a driver that wasn't spinning enough. It literally destroyed me. So I
It
remember that
destroys your confidence.
conversation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I remember that conversation. So when I'm teaching, back, another point is that I feel like I'm a club fitter. I'm looking at the spin on the ball all the time, because people that come in struggling with the driver, they're normally always not getting enough spin on the toe strike.
Absolutely. That's what I spoke about with Harrington 3 years ago. He wants his driver at 2.5, and if he toes it, it'll still stay above 2,000 spin, stays in the air, can sometimes go further on his miss hits. Yeah.
Like, that's such nugget. That's nothing to do with golf instruction. That's just a nugget of information that can literally change a guy's career.
Yeah.
Which is and I would say if there's one thing driving people off the tour, it might be probably, I would say, chipping. Some guys struggle chipping, and then the driver, the wild drives, people getting really trapped and hitting that. Like Tiger would have been one that had this shot where he got really trapped and hit that big block, and then they start hitting the reaction. I would say that is the one thing that I see when people come to me, the elite high speed players, when they come to me, that's the issue, and it was one of my own issues as well. So a higher spin driver, slightly lower tee, get that club swinging straighter into the ball can really help golfers get back on the fairway.
I remember seeing Tiger in Mount Juliet years at Ulog 2000, 2002 or something like that. And he had the ball teed up like this high on the 18th, and he took a divot with the driver. Now, he didn't hit great. He was swinging really, really hard at that time. He was playing with Luke Donald. But then he hit like a 2-iron under the tree and onto the green from there. So
he did. It was his first bogey of the week. I've watched every shot.
Do you remember that?
I have, and I have a post on all the best shots of the final round. And I've worked out that if you think that you need to hit driver everywhere, Tiger had this weapon of a 2-iron that he hit 7 times around in Mount Juliet, excluding par 3s. So he was really like, anytime there was a hole that was a little bit narrow for his eye, he just had this weapon. And so I try and get every good player to have a weapon when they're going to that outside of the driver, be it a 2-iron, a Stinger 3-wood, or a little chip low fade driver. It's a great shot to have when the going gets tough.
So you've got the Masters and the US Open all ahead of you.
It's hard not to giggle, isn't it? It's outrageous. Yeah.
Do you feel ready for all of this now after doing the Open?
I don't feel one bit ready, to be honest.
Right.
But that's the joy of it all. I have some super people in my team that are going to help me get a little bit more ready. And I'm sure the people that Stuart manages to do in the practice round are going to help him out a lot more than I can on the nuggets about the course. But all we can do is watch the previous year's film, get the coaches to send on that have been there. It's basically people that have been through this before are going to help us out. I'd like to get down and do a couple of days in Adair Manor. I think it's the closest to Augusta that we would have in Europe, maybe Valderrama as well. But Adair, go down and do a little bit of work down there would be a nice preparation. But
brilliant.
It's going to come down to it's just going to come down to just playing good golf as well. Let's not overcomplicate it. Yeah.
Well, it makes compared to playing the Open, playing Augusta and the US Open, the conditions you're reacting, and preparing for the environment.
Yes, the goal is to practice hitting it a little bit higher, maybe through equipment and maybe through some swing fields, because there's a few holes that if you hit it low, you'll just be gonzo.
Will you speak to Dylan on the data behind? Yeah. And say maybe from the experience from the Open, like what will you take from that going into the Masters?
I think the beauty about this is that we're going to have a little bit more time in the run-in, and he's going to have more preparation for that course and that thing, and that instead of being at the European Team Championships, he's going to have that whole weekend to really learn about the course and how he wants to play it and get everything in line. So it's just going to be more prep than he had for the Open. And the other thing, he's already played in the highest stress environment, so surely it's going to be stand to him playing in the Masters.
No phones there. Might be a nicer environment.
Yes, I can't wait. We can get our iPads on the range, and that will be that's a way of getting a sneaky photo. But I won't be posting
Ah,
it.
Yeah, that's
class.
just for you. Well, I'd say the other thing is you can bring a proper camera, so you get a nicer photo on that.
You can. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Do you
yeah.
think Tiger
I
might make
have.
a return by then?
Oh my God, if Tiger was on the range, I'd say I'd
Is it
collapse.
wishful thinking, is it?
I'd be like, Stuart, I'm going to be back in 2 hours.
Brilliant.
Maybe Charlie will get there.
Yeah. No, I don't think he'll be there for a while. But yeah, yeah. Seeing Tiger is the only player I saw in Mount Juliet that has like. I thought he had like this. He has got like a aura that's just totally different to anything I've ever seen in a human being.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I remember looking
Yeah.
at his swing and it was so fast, I couldn't see it. Like, I'd never seen anything so fast in my life. It was just a blur.
Can't even
I
see
was
it
like,
when it's
fuck.
slow motion.
It took like an hour to get to a good spot to see him and just didn't see anything. It's just a blur. It's unbelievable.
Well, they reckon he was at 130.
Really? With a steel shaft
Yeah.
for some of it.
Outrageous. And then he got that tour accuracy ball, which was the turning point because he got a little upper hand on everyone before in that 2000 year. He changed to the tour accuracy down in Germany, and they were like, "Oh my God!" Steve Williams says he's hitting it 15 yards further and straight.
Wow.
And they're like, "Yeah, put it straight into play." And 2000 year, as you know, was a cracking year.
It was a cracking year.
Yeah.
So, Dave, where do you see taking your coaching from here? Are you planning on getting out on tour more? And like, is that what your goal as such, or where do you want to take it? And I guess the other thing I was thinking, like me and Gary were chatting about, was like, say by 2030, what would you say is like a goal to have accomplished by then? Perhaps like, where do you see yourself going by the next decade?
Firstly, before I even tell you that, I would just before I get to that question I'm so happy with where I've got to now. I'm so appreciative of that, and I just want to thank my mom, my wife, my brother, and John and Tom Cleary, really, because they've been so helpful to me and all the other coaches, and it would be terrible for me to come on here and not say that they played a massive role in getting me to this position here. Where in the future is obviously more the same. I have this kind of cool goal to win every championship in the 1 year with the players that I coach. So someday, hopefully, that'll happen. By 2030, David Ruddy AI is already started. Online, yeah.
Class.
There you go.
PGA show in Orlando in January. I'm releasing a new product, which I'll release to the world soon.
Exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting. I've spent 2 years working on that, so that'll be fun. That just was a product that I thought about while I was giving lessons. I was like, oh, this is a nightmare trying to set this up, but yeah, I'll leave that one in the quiet. My own academy. I guess my own venue and academy, so I'm still a bit of a range rat. I kind of go around just working on different driving ranges. So I'd love to have my own venue someday where I can, have lads hitting Pro Vs and a good strong junior academy coming up. So that has to be a goal. And really back to like just celebrating golf for what it is. Like I just just got life without golf is just like, it's hard to think of it. And like, I just never tire of going off playing, hitting balls, and just going to enjoy more of that. Honestly, I just love going playing and these great courses and in good company.
Where can people find you, David? Obviously online, but in person.
In some driving range somewhere.
You're west and you're east and you're kind of south as well.
I work in Spawell every Friday. I work in Tip twice a month, and Craigboy once a week as well in Galway, and online on Skillist. And I've Instagram and Facebook, David Ruddy Golf. And other than that, my number is on the internet. If you ever needed to ask any questions, I'm pretty chill. I could take a call anytime.
I was just the one question I did have for you, David, was what does a typical week look like for David Ruddy? Is it a 6-day week, 7-day week, 5-day week? Is it compressed nicely, or
Um,
is it varied?
oh yeah. One of the other venues that's come to me is up at Gordon in the Sleeve Russell as well. I do a bit with him. We do a kind of a school together where we bring elite teams. So that might be worth mentioning, that we take senior cup
Yeah.
teams and he does the putting and I do a little bit of short game and a little bit of long game. He does wedges as well. So that might be something, because I know there'll be some senior cup players listening to this.
Class.
And a typical week would be, as you get kind of older, I've kind of try to keep my mornings to myself. So the only morning that I work is Friday morning in Spawell. I do a full day in Spawell, but every other morning I don't work. So that would be just online coaching in the morning. Then I would go to the gym, and then I go to the beach and walk the dog. And
Class.
I would play, and then I'd like to coach from maybe 3-4 onwards in the day, and then obviously I might base my week around Dublin, and if I needed to play with an elite player, I would do that on days that I don't work, which would be Monday and Thursday. But what I would say is, for like my own head, was that I've probably leaving about 30% of the work behind me, just for a better quality of life. So there probably is more work out there, but I've kind of just tried to pick the pieces that align with living a good life and being a good support to my wife and my dog at home. And I think that's important, that I'm not literally just doing golf all the time, even though my brain probably is going that way.
Like when I moved here
and
first,
a few holidays are important. So we're
good
going to
man, the
Portugal in a
Ballybunion.
couple of weeks. No. Well, that too, but we're going to Portugal soon, out to Quinta. So
Oh, nice.
Quinta is
Lovely.
great because there's a range there. We can hit balls.
Brilliant.
But that balance is so important, David, isn't it? Like you could spend the whole week just coach, and people will gladly fill your calendar that way, and you have to look after yourself, don't you? Fill your cup.
Yeah, the reason I took Thursdays off, because Spawell is such a blockbuster, and then I just think I treat coaching like a Liam treats around the golf. Like he's trying to get himself ready, or trying to eat well, trying to be good sleep. I think that's important for coaching, because if you're not on the ball, you'll just be telling lads a load of rubbish. So I take it seriously. Going in to give a lesson, they've paid a lot of money to come and spend an hour with you. They need to get the best version of you. And one thing that always sticks with me is Butch Harmon. He said, if you're doing a 10 lesson day or an 8 lesson day, he says, can you give the quality to the last person as the first person?
Brilliant.
And I always try and stick by that when I'm doing the lessons. Butch was amazing. I had a lesson off Butch when I was 16, and I just always remember that he made me feel great versus the actual technique. He just made me feel confident, and I left the lesson really feeling alive. So that was a great insight from one of the best coaches ever.
That makes me think of Neil Manship when we went to Maynooth. I'd never seen anyone coach like him before. Like it blew my mind. Like when I asked, he said, "What shot are you struggling with?" And I said, "A low fade," because I hit these massive slingers. And I was like, "How do you want me to do it?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I said, "Okay." So I stood up and I hit my big fucking 10-yard draw with a 7-iron. And I said, "What's going on here?" And he goes, he took the club off me and he hit the shot himself. Lovely 5-yard fade down onto the 150, whatever it was, in Carton House. And he handed the club back to me and he goes, "Your turn." And I was like, "Do you want me to like come across it, or like aim left?" And he goes, "I don't know." Anyway, this went on for about 10-15 minutes, and eventually it just clicked with me. And I turned around to him, and at this stage now I had towels around my arms, I had sticks coming out, all sorts of angles. And I turned around to him and I just said, "What have I been doing?" Like I was 21 at this stage or something. And he totally changed my perspective of the whole game. Like, and for me, like I couldn't thank him enough. He really spurred me on in outside golf and in golf. The holistic approach.
His ability to get people to feel feel comfortable about what they want to do is really good. I saw that over in Birkdale because he was with Shane, and he gets Shane into such a great place to play them big tournaments. And like, I even back to, I think, before the Open, Shane wasn't feeling great about his game, and they had a big chat on the Wednesday, and he went on to win the Open. So you'd have to say that's top class coaching. Really, it's not all about P2.
I thought he was incredible.
Dave, thanks so much for coming on. That was a brilliant chat. It's great to get an insight into your mind and where you're going with everything. And the best of luck going forward to the majors. And exciting to follow.
We might do a part 2 when they're all over, and we can give you
unbelievable.
As I say, podcasts are only as good as the questions. I listen to plenty of them, and your questions are great. Gary, best of luck in London, and keep up the good work. You've got a good support network around you now. Liam, well, push on. It's time to climb up the rankings on that South African tour. Yourself and Leicester. Gonna do good stuff this season and into next season.
Cheers,
the coach
Dave.
is coming out now. You see it?
No, Liam will tell you, I'm a massive fan of Irish golfers. Outside of the ones I coach, like I would congratulate them. I'd like their stuff. I think as a country we just need to celebrate and support all our golfers, trying to get them as far as they can.
Brilliant.
I just like good golf. I know how hard it is to play it, so I'm a big fan of good golf. So anyone that's doing it, kudos.
I think we could chat for 2 hours here, but no one will be able to listen any longer.
Go down so many avenues.
No, thank
and
you
as a fellow coach, very, very inspiring. You're a few years ahead of me, even though we're the same age, but you're longer in the PGA. And as I'm a full-time coach, and it's very inspiring to see what you've done and your dedication, and like your heart's in the right place, and I think that's what shines through in the end.
Yeah, I think that's why I've tried to work on over time, is just like exactly what you've said. So I'm grateful to be asked on this podcast. I was saying to my wife last night, I'm on a podcast last night. Tomorrow I was like this, kind of like, what am I going to say? But I think we've got through it okay. So and look forward to part 2, and maybe we'll have a green jacket. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Thanks for joining us and sharing all your insights and experiences.
See you soon, boys.
So David has just headed off to play in Galway Bay. Lucky him. It was a great chat. Liam, I hope you got as much from it as I did.
Yeah, I got a lot from that. He's a really interesting guy, and is obviously obsessed. So it's refreshing hearing someone that's so into it, and he's good energy as well when it comes to that. So I'm kind of leaving that chat with a nice perspective on things, and I definitely got a few bits from it. What was your
say is for me?
Go on. You go first.
I think obviously it's over an hour long, so I'm just thinking like there was a lot of things said that were so many nuggets, but I suppose if I think back at the feelings that I had through that hour, one is just how grateful he was to the people around him. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child, but he's got a great team around him by the sounds of it, and they're very supportive, and he really appreciates that. And it sounds like at this stage he's acknowledging that and realizing that and protecting himself as well, not working all hours of the day and giving himself a bit of balance in life, and holiday, as he said. You can grind yourself into the ground, but if your cup is not full for the person in front of you, what's the point? You're not really that useful to them. And I would take a lot from that. I've done that this year. I've really protected myself, and I think I'm arriving to the tee box much more full and present and ready for the person in front. And it's much more stable, and it's a better service, really. The other thing I'd say was what he said around Butch, and how the one thing he remembered was how he made him feel special and very confident about his game and ready. And I think, as I've said as well with Neil Manship, my experience with him, like he had that ability to bring that out in a person. It's a very holistic approach, and it's very zen, I suppose. And that's something I would take from life coaching. I would try and bring that to golf lessons as well. So I thought that was a good point.
Yeah, I'd say I was impressed by how much of a thirst for knowledge he has, and like I had a fair idea because, like, back in COVID times, we were both on them calls with Andrew Rice that time. But he's obviously going to spend a lot of time with coaches in person. Like with Andy Plummer, he credited a lot, and he has gone into depth with these people and spent time with them. Like, there's probably even a lot to be said for spending the time in person, and he's invested in that as opposed to just the online courses, which has given him obviously a great rounded perspective on the game and on his own coaching, and been able to use these, just the different cues that he obviously picked up, and how some will click with some people, and it can just help him come to the answer quicker, or an answer that will click with the client or student he's teaching quicker as well. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, like I know you're doing some skill S the same as myself, online coaching. Would you take any of that to your skill S? How you're coaching people there?
Yeah, I think
you do a bit of in person as well.
Yeah, now I haven't been doing much coaching since I've been away on Sunshine Tour, but the way I'm going with my skill S now is I have a lot of time between events, or even when I'm traveling to events. So I know I can hopefully have my tour insight and what I'm working on, and like my perspectives with, like, I know what he was saying about demonstrating shots. Like, I've been going through it day to day, but I'll definitely be more stringent on like the questionnaires, the way he was saying, leading into that with like their goals, their kind of insights with target, even like with online coaching, if someone's taking a video, like what was their target, where did the ball finish, and having the camera angles to match that, it's going to be very important to be an effective coach online too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone wants to do coaching with you online, Liam, is it just Liam Grehan Golf on Skillest?
It is, and even drop me a message on my Instagram or that, and we'll get you set up. I'd be delighted to help. Obviously, Dave's a great option there as well. And yourself, Gary, what are you kind of doing with your Skillest and online coaching? And you're obviously more in person too as well in London.
Yeah. I coach 3 days in Wandsworth, which is southwest London, central really. And then I do outdoor coaching in West Middlesex. And then there might be some additions down the line. But as ever, things change. But loving London. It's great. And I've got some really good clients here and some really good players as well, seeing some good results. So I'm excited to incorporate Skillest a bit more into more of a hybrid approach. So people I might see in person, a lot of people are busy here, they're traveling and stuff, and Skillest is a great option for them to get touch-ups on their game. Yeah, it's great for that.
Super.
Looking forward to using it for that.
Yeah, well, that was a great chat, Gary. Yeah, let's leave it at that, and we'll hopefully not be as long till the next chat.
That's right. We just took a little break.
Yeah,
filling our cup, as we said.
Different hemispheres don't help, but we'll keep in touch a bit more.
So as always, thanks everybody for listening, and keep an eye on the Instagram and all those things, and we'll hopefully have more exciting episodes coming down the line. Thank you very much.